want me what?
Just right there. Then.
Right there, okay.
Right.
Tyler, Minnesota. Tyler High School, which is now Russell Tyler Ruthven. And then they've won a few state basketball championships. And Cato State. I had a double major. I had business and chemistry. I was drafted, so then you report to the AFI station up in Minneapolis. And you get sworn in. The day I got sworn in, the Marines come in and said, "We need Marines today. Count off 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. 1 year, almost 2 year Army." So I didn't make it in the Marine Corps. Well, I knew it was coming. Not a big thing. I just wanted to go and do my 2 years, and actually I wanted to go home and farm, but that didn't happen. So, well, I trained at Fort Campbell, Kentucky was basic training. Fort Polk, Louisiana was advanced infantry training. Engineer OCS was in Fort Belvoir, Virginia. Military Intelligence School was Fort Hollenberg, Maryland. And then I taught at the Chemical Warfare School for a year. Well, you have to understand, when we went in as a group, half of us were from Minnesota, Wisconsin, and the other half were from Tennessee, Kentucky. My bunkmate was from Tennessee State Prison. He was in prison for manslaughter. So we're getting ready for the first inspection, and I said, "Clarence, you never passed. Didn't you read the instructions?" He said, "I can't read." I mean, that shocks you. It really shocks you. So I set up for him, and he passed, and all he said was, "Don't worry about anything. I got your back." Okay, that's how it works. You take care of each other. 71 on January 2nd or 3rd, whichever one I can't remember which.
Because the time's differently there.
Well, you pass the international date line, so either you fall forward a day or backwards a day, and I can't remember what it was. There was because it's a hot, humid climate, so it's a real lush climate. It's actually very pretty. And if you watch any of the stuff in Vietnam, you'll see all the jungles, you see all the grasses, all the water. You know, a lot of the guys suffered from jungle rot because they never got dried out. Their clothes never got dry. Their boots never got dry. So, lots of snakes, lots of monkeys, lots of the water buffalo is something, which was a very prized animal for the farm. Had a water buffalo to work all the rice crops, and it's just a whole different world, a whole different atmosphere. We wore jungle fatigues. Well, I worked with several different people who I became good friends with. One of them was in charge of all the intel operations for the Far East, and you just got to know people from different, because most of us were young, although there was the lifers that were in that had been in for quite a few years. So. Well, I'll tell you, the interesting part is when you fly into Vietnam and your plane lands and there's a group of guys cheering for you, and I thought, wow, that's pretty nice. No, they're getting on the plane to go home. That was their freedom bird. And so a year later, you said, hey, here comes my freedom bird, you know.
So then when you're getting off, they go on.
Well, you got off and walked into and they walked on, you know. They refueled and away they went again, so. Well, like I said, we worked 14 hours a day, 7 days a week. And they had basketball courts. I played a lot of basketball. And
Did you win a lot of the?
oh, yes. There were some pretty good ball players. And believe it, I usually got chose. I mean, there was guys that were All-American in junior. But because I could pass the ball and would pass the ball, and they liked to score, I liked to win. Yeah, basically the biggest skill I learned was how to get along with people from different backgrounds, different races, different educations. I mean, and you find, what you really find out, no matter how different you are, you really are a lot alike.
Yeah.
Well, what I learned in Vietnamese, I can't repeat, but it's a very difficult language to learn. You know, my roommate there, he'd went to school like for a year and a half for Vietnamese, and he was at a grade school level, you know. And the more you talk it, like anything else, then your skills get up, but you come out of that, you're not really very fluent. Lots of rice. That was a big staple, was rice, fried rice, steamed rice, and of course we had the American mess hall, so we got meats and stuff, but it was a big staple. Rice was a big staple. End of 1971. Well, I was glad to go home. I was glad to go home in one piece. And you know, when you're in the military at that time, I don't know if it's still, you could fly military standby, but you had to be in uniform, except they said you can't be in uniform because we weren't welcome. They had a lot of airports, if you come through, people would spit on you. Vietnam soldier was not a welcome person, so. Well, I helped my dad on the farm for a couple of months, and then I got a job with the state of Minnesota as a probation officer, and I done that for the next 28 years. Oh, they were good kids. Harold was and Eric were both very competitive, but Eric's career kind of ended start of his junior year when he took a big chip out of his vertebrae because he had his head down instead of up when he hit somebody. And Harold had a good football career and wrestling career and good college football career. And well, I'm active in the Legion, and not everybody in the, of course, you got a gamut of people, and not everybody has been to combat zones. A lot of them are in, but every Wednesday I go to Fort Snelling. I'm on the Memorial Rifle Squad up there. You have to be a veteran to be on the rifle squad. There's 25 on each squad, and about 8 or 9 of us are Vietnam veterans. I think there's a couple Korean vets. Our average age is 75. And I'm pushing the upper part. I'm at 78, so. Taking care of my grandkids. I had the perfect grandchildren. And I was fortunate to be able to do that. And not many people would do it or could do it. But. Well, I think one of the advantages of the draft, whether you like it or not, I come from the farm out in southwest Minnesota. I think there was 5,000 people in the whole county. Everybody was white. And then you come in, like my bunkmate is black from Tennessee, out of prison. And I mean, you can go through, it's a great melting pot. And then what you learn is you have to get along to get through. You might not like it, but you have to get along. And I mean, that's a really important lesson to learn. And as an OCS, because we would, it was hard academics, and then we'd go out and sometimes we'd run all night. And we'd come in with a place called Heartbreak Hill. It was a sandy slope. Well, I could run up it. Then you learn, no, there was about 4 or 5 of us. We'd be carrying 4 or 5 rifles and 2 or 3 packs, and so those guys could get up. And the lesson was, if you're going to lead men, you got to make sure everybody makes it. You can't leave somebody behind. Well, I think when you look at World War II, 11.2% served. Vietnam, 4.3% served. The last 20 years, less than 1% have served. And you say, wow. And then you say, what have the veterans done? Well, you go to the Legion clubs and the VFW clubs, and you look at what they provide for a town. I know our Post 43 in Faribault, we probably give $200,000 a year to the schools for all the different activities. We give to veterans' homes. We give to veterans in need. So you're a veteran, but you keep working. You keep honoring that title, veteran, because once you're a veteran, you are a veteran. I'm proud to be a veteran. I'm proud to have served, and I'd do it again. And I'd sooner go fight, because I can't run very good anymore, but I still can shoot real well.
Thank you so much for answering our questions and speaking.
My pleasure.